One of the most valuable tips I have is something I've learned over the past several years. Most of my focus in climbing has been on single pitch trad climbing, some multi pitch climbing, and some sport climbing. And so most of my training has just been climbing. I've done some endurance training, and in the past few years I started focusing more on power and strength. And these are things that I didn't think were as important because of my focus on longer routes. But I've come to learn that they're essential for climbers no matter what your discipline is. Strength and power are terms we use a lot as climbers, and they're pretty simple, but I think a lot of people misuse them. Strength refers to pretty much the absolute force you can generate in a position. It has nothing to do with speed, so it's like how hard can you lock off, how small of a hold can you hold, and power is strength with a velocity component. So it is how quickly can you latch that bad hold, or how how much force can you generate in a short amount of time to move between holds, like a big dynamic move. And really, power is the more sport specific thing. Almost all climbing we do has an element of velocity to it. We need to engage quickly, we need to do a dynamic move. So power is really important. Power, however, is built on a foundation of strength. So without the absolute strength, you can't generate the sport specific power. And focusing on both strength and power has really changed my climbing and made me able to do routes I wouldn't have been able to do, and has introduced me to an entirely different realm of climbing in bouldering. I had bouldered here and there before, but a focus on bouldering has really changed the way I look at climbing as a whole. I have another discipline to work on, and the strength and power I generate bouldering translates really well to the rest of my climbing. There's a few movement patterns and things that are important for climbers that we don't generate, that we can't build optimally through bouldering. It can develop a lot of the finger strength, the upper body power, but supplemental training in pushing movement patterns, whole body movements, and even the pulling movement patterns can be really useful for climbers in terms of strength and power. There's a few different ways to program it. Some people will do strength training for a month and then power training for a month. And that can be really useful because you do need to build strength before you build power. But one thing I've learned is that you can build them kind of at the same time by alternating days during the week. You could do a strength day on Tuesday and a power day on Thursday, and you would be simultaneously increasing your strength and adding velocity to that strength to generate power. So strength training can take a lot of different forms, and so can power training. These are things you can do on a bouldering wall, you can do on a campus board, you can do on a hangboard, you can do with weights or kettlebells. Paragon workouts integrate a bunch of these modalities as far as bouldering walls, pull-up bars, kettlebells, and really do a good job of integrating strength and power. One example of how we could train strength and train power as climbers is in the pull-up pattern. If we're training 2 days a week, and one day is focused on strength and the other day is focused on power, we could do weighted pull-ups or one-arm assisted pull-ups or something that is difficult. And then the second day would be our power day, where we would try to move in that same pattern with a lot of velocity. And so that could be a power pull-up, that could be a explosive muscle-up type thing if you're advanced. When I'm doing explosive pull-ups, I like to focus on pulling up as fast as possible and then lowering myself down controlled and slow. I'll even do a fast pull-up or a muscle-up and then put my feet on something and lower myself down using my feet. I'm trying to avoid any shock loading to the shoulders on the way down and focus on generating force and generating speed on the way up. Both are essential for climbers, and a focus on strength and power has really changed me as a climber.